Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday Talking Town, the flagship podcast for the fans, by the fans of Ipswich Town Football Club. And how happy we must all be this afternoon at 1:30 on the nose. The sun is shining, and it shines that little bit brighter after a win. Beer tastes that much sweeter, food tastes that much better. Whatever it is, it's always better after a win, particularly a win where you're completely dominant from first minute to last minute and never really lost control of the game, which is what we all go to football to see, our club perform in that manner. I am so excited to really get into the conversation today. We've put together, hopefully, a very positive, happy show to keep the good times rolling. Because, you know, it is good times currently at Ipswich Town Football Club. As always, you can get involved via the live chat, or you can come on the show and have your say. There will be a link at some point put into the chat. So if you're desperate to get on the show and have your say, whatever your opinion, whether we're talking about it or not, whether you feel we should be talking about it and we haven't done, then please do get involved. For those at home, wondering, is the Gov wearing a sweatshirt? Yes, you are absolutely correct. I am wearing a sweatshirt. My T-shirt is in the car, and for those that know, I do have a little bit of a disability, and today it is awful. And my wife went out before I had a chance to put any trousers on, so I've just got boxers on the bottom, and I didn't think the street needed to see me, so I am wearing a sweatshirt. It is bloody hot outside, so if I do start to melt, send help. Send help quickly. And if you're listening on audio devices, my apologies this week. I haven't uploaded the shows as I said I would do. It has been one of those weeks with one or two things at home going on. So I do apologize, but they should return this week. So please do accept my sincere apologies. Richard Chandler, Evans knows how I survived yesterday's match without burns, let alone the players couldn't even find a leaf to stand under. I like it. I went with the too hot to handle today. That's all I could come up with at short notice. Well, I say short notice. I had from 5 p.m. yesterday, but I was a bit busy. Moby, Ferrari against Fiesta yesterday. I like that analogy. That's a Ben Adams analogy coming through. I like that. James, welcome in. We played amazing yesterday up the town. Carl Sheed, hello, lads. Great day in performance yesterday. We must still sign Macaulay Bonne ASAP. We have got striker on our little list of talking bullet points coming up. Do we need one? Is one still coming in? Carl Brooks, afternoon all. Hope we all enjoyed the pure domination on the show yesterday. Nothing to be negative about. All positive. Now to break the 3 in a row curse. Tuesday, Upper Town. Rob Holmes, welcome in. JD was excellent, as was Chaplin. Adrian, nice meeting you, Mike, Saturday. Pure Football, the boy calling you Aston Martin. Stuart Darnell, best 90 minutes under Kieran McKenna yesterday. Press from the front in that heat was unbelievable. Pre-season work paying off already. I'm going to do this shirt giveaway right this moment, as our two previous winners didn't come forward. And I'm going to do it right now because for those that watched Friday's show, you will, of course, know the Gov may have forgotten to do it. So I'm not going to forget today. Here is our wheel. All the names on the list. I have randomized them. I have shuffled them. Let's see who our winners today. 2 shirt winners. Here we go. First one coming right up. Who is it? It is Shira 5. If you are Shira 5, please do get in touch. Let me just write that down because I will forget that username. And here we go. Spin it again. And our second winner is... Now, you do have until tomorrow, Monday, 7 p.m. to get in touch via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and it's Kate is our second winner. Congratulations. Get in touch. Or if you're on our Discord, the Talking Town Discord, you can, of course, just message us on that. Lots of people asking how you get involved in that Discord. You get involved by being a YouTube member or a Ko-Fi 5th Dan TT Ultra. Links in the chat how to do that. And if you are a YouTube member, it will be on your community tab, which is on your page. And if you're a Ko-Fi, I will email you individually. And I'm getting through that list. I promise you, I really am. Marvin Lee, the Tinder great. We just have to do it for the next 2 games. We certainly do. Well, let's get cracking on. Here he comes, my co-host for the day, the Cruncher, Richard Moss.
You're talking utter fucking.
There we go. I did the shirt giveaway, Rich. I've done it.
I think that comment there that we need to do it for the next 2 games. I think we need to do it for the next 43 games.
Oh, you've upped the ante there by being the obvious, because that is obvious.
We've set the bar. Yesterday we set the bar.
Well, that's what Conor Chaplin said. You know, the standard has been set, and look. Yesterday is what we go to football for, isn't it? It was a great day with people you like. The team was dominant. 3 points, 3 goals. The sun was shining. That's what football is.
When did we last sit there, Gov? Right, with about 20 minutes to go, 3-0 up, and you could just relax.
A long time. Doncaster probably at home last year. That was the only chance we really had.
But we've not really done it over the last 3 seasons, or a few seasons, really. Just sat there and it's been comfortable, and you're thinking, 3 points are in the bag. But it was everything that we wanted yesterday, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. No. It was everything and more. Really. It's so good from start to finish, pure domination, and we didn't.
And another good thing, and you're just saying so good there. Another thing that's so good, we don't have to suffer with them playing Sweet Caroline anymore at the end of the game.
Did they not play it yesterday?
No. It's old out, isn't it? Well, who wants to hear that shit song?
I don't want to hear it.
Play it everywhere.
They still play Hey Jude before the game, but never mind.
I don't mind that. I'll get up out of the seat and belt it out loud. So, that's what it is.
I like things that are individual to a football club. That every club seems to play that. You listen to a game on Sky, they play that. Like, it was a game last week I heard Hey Jude played before the game. I was like,
Brentford played that at the end of the game. They were playing it last night. We're going to talk about Man U later.
I bet they were playing it on blast last night. Unbelievable. Ashley,
we need some canned laughter for Man United. We need some canned laughter.
We do. No, we do. We've got them coming up because it's not often you can put crisis at United down on a bit of paper and actually be true. Carl, it was that comfortable. We could have been complacent, but we saw it out very professional. I actually left with a few minutes to go. I went out, got set up early because it was 3-0. Job was done and dusted. It's not often I get a chance to do that. It was nice. Really nice.
It was probably done at half time. Just their body language said to me, Martin, the first half, we give them the runaround and they were sort of heads down. I know they had a couple of chances, obviously, where they could have scored, but they didn't. You know, we'd done the job. We got the early goal, which Nunny said on Friday he wanted a fast start, which you make it easier for yourself. But I was never worried about yesterday. I said Friday night. They're the type of teams, Martin, that will come and try and play football against us. If you try and play football against Town, I think we're better than most teams in this league. If you want to play a football match against us, it's when the teams come and do the dirty that we're going to have to find out about this side if we've improved from last season. That's for me is what I want to see when it's all right. Look, the sun was shining yesterday. It's total football. It's a bit like watching Brazil, you know, when JD's nutmegging fullbacks. He's Dean Lewington. Poor old Dean Lewington, you know.
No, poor nothing about it.
Poor old Dean Lewington got absolutely skinned. And another thing, it was 35 degrees and he's a ginger. I mean, come on. He's having a poor day, isn't he?
I am going to talk about Jonathan Ashton because we have got 2 players each that we felt performed well, and people will be shocked that JD is on my list. I want to talk about him. But Nunny said it Friday, what's an early goal? You said you never worried about it. I was worried about it because it's not the Ipswich way traditionally. And yesterday was very much a freak weather game. You go to a game like Dean Bowditch's debut with a hat-trick with the gust of wind.
Do you remember when we played Reading on the opening day of the season? We drew 1-1 and we got a penalty right at the end. Jim Magilton scored.
Yes, I do.
Probably under Joe Royal. I remember that was red hot. I was in the North Stand that day, right in the full sun now. If you were sitting yesterday in the full sun, Martin.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's just like...
You're burnt today.
We were in the shade, weren't we? But fair play. It was everything we wanted. The fitness levels for me, we are poles apart from where we were this stage last season. You know, we're still, I know you've got the subs now and we used them yesterday, but we're still going at 90, 95 minutes, you know. And I think we will all season. McKenna said after the game, he thinks we won't be fully fit till October, he says. So if there's more to come, and that was sort of only just scraping the surface of it, I think we've got a lot to look forward to this season.
I've often said to you, Rich, I'm in a show me, don't tell me mood. And last year we were told, I want my teams to be fitter. I want fit teams. They're showing me this year they're a fit team. Because last year we were being told we wanted fit teams and it just wasn't happening.
No, this year, like, I see it in the Bolton game. You know, we come on strong there second half, and yesterday it was from that first whistle. The front three there. Well, you say the front four. I'd include Burns, Harness, Chaplin, Ladapo. They never let them out, Martin. And I know they were trying to play like from the goal kicks and trying to play through the lines. MK, look, fair play to them if that's the way they want to play. But we never give them a second, did we? We nicked the ball so many times in that first half. We nicked that ball and it got turned over. And to me, there's another stage in that game when we had the first drinks break. They come over a couple of minutes, literally, right from the start of the second half of the first half, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sam Morsey won that ball after about 3 seconds.
He did,
right? And I thought, right, we're bang on this today. We were quicker than them. We were stronger than them. We were faster than them. Everything that we wanted, Martin. And if we continue that through the season, look, it's 3 games in. We've done nothing. We've achieved nothing. We're sitting top of the table and we're all happy. But that is the benchmark now that we've set. And if we play like that for the majority of the season, I think we'll have a really good chance of getting out of this division. I really do.
I agree. And there's not many teams that will compete or be able to compete with us on that performance. And I think that Sam Morsey that you just pulled out there, winning the ball back from the drinks break, actually is a really great point, because it almost seems tactical that, look, we're going to have a drinks break tonight, or today rather. Once that ball's back in play, let's get back at it. Win the ball back if we haven't got it as soon as you possibly can. Get at it. Let's see how quickly they come out of their drinks break, because it is very much like a mini halftime. You were playing 4 quarters yesterday almost, you know, and we were really up for the fight, chomping at the bit, and we haven't been like that in the first half for a while. To be brutally fair, you know, even Bolton, we started slowly.
Yeah, because I think you touched on when we did the Sunday show after the Bolton game, how it's sort of a bit of a spillover from some of them pre-season games, Martin, how we started. And look, you can give them a little bit of leeway, maybe first game of the season, you know, nerves, whatever. But yesterday, from that first whistle, we were bang at it, you know, scored that great early goal we scored, and it settles everyone down then. But then we didn't really take our foot off the gas all game. Wolfenden is the only one, I think. He made a couple of errors yesterday. He gets sloppy. And I said to the guys who sit behind me, Martin, I think a lot of times this season, look, we will have some really good days. I think the main headache will be we'll beat ourselves. If we lose games, we will beat ourselves this season, because we'll get sloppy. We'll make mistakes when sometimes it gets maybe a little bit too easy for them. But I think that's where the captain comes in, Morsey.
Good point.
You know, he sets that standard, he drives the team, and I think he won't allow that sort of thing to happen, you know. And if it does happen once, I don't think it'll happen again. No,
certainly not in the same. I think you're right there. I think a player like Luke Wolfenden, when it becomes too easy, he becomes very sloppy. When he knows he's in control of a game or a centre forward, or it's all a little bit too easy in this game, that's when he starts to switch off. And Emerson to an extent as well. And that's what happens, I think, when you've got players that are starting to play at the level they shouldn't be playing at. Because everything starts to slow down, becomes far, far too easy. And then you just get a little bit less detail orientated. And yesterday, at times, he's stepping out of that defence beautifully. And then other times he was half asleep, bless him.
Well, when Paul Lambert said that, didn't he? When his ear, he was really laid back. And I think sometimes he might need a word in his ear, a strong word in his ear. You know, just pull your socks up. You know, you're a good player.
A Richard Keogh type off the field.
Yeah, he can help. This is where Keogh might not be on the field, but he can help in and around the training ground. You know, and it's probably in the dressing room at half time. I would have thought it'd be sort of round there. But it was interesting this morning. Someone I know messaged me. There was a scout actually there from Leicester yesterday watching them. So
you mentioned
that's interesting because obviously it's a sign, Martin. When you're playing well and your team's doing well, you're going to have scouts come and watch you. You know, that's just
they watch every game, I imagine. But yeah.
We do have to remember we're in League One, so if there's any gems out there, and it was interesting because I was listening to Brendan Rodgers on the way home last night after the Arsenal game, and he's basically saying they've spent 100 million on their training ground, right? They haven't got a lot of money to spend at the minute. They haven't signed anybody this window, so
very rare.
They can see a gem like in Wolfen and might think, right, he's someone. They signed that James Justin, who plays from the fullback. They signed him from Leicester. You know, he was playing in League One. So they're obviously doing their work, looking out there, which everybody has to do, you know, and they're thinking, yeah, Wolfen could definitely play at a high level, I think. Definitely he could play at a high level. Just that lack of concentration sometimes.
One day he'll certainly play in the Premier League. I don't have a doubt about that. And I've said that even when he was out of favour here, I said he will play at a higher level. Is he ready now? I don't think he's the answer Brendan Rodgers wants.
Not
for myself. I don't think he's good enough at the moment. He's only another year of seasoning, perhaps in the Championship, like a Flynn Downs. But yeah, it's a bit. I'm concerned about the scout, and we'll come to that now. It was on the list of things we could talk about, primarily because at what point or what cost is this going to be? Could it be a George Hurst? I've seen someone suggest money and Wolfen. Like the George Hurst. It's a little bit of an ongoing debacle.
Dragging on, isn't it?
I'm concerned it's getting too expensive. I'm out if it's deal or no deal.
You said that this morning. We don't know the ins and outs and what's going on, and is there other teams in for him? I would hope that if they're investing in Hurst and it doesn't come off, they've got to have another couple of backups, Martin. If this one falls through, because what are we? We're getting in the middle of August now. Time's starting to run out. You watched that game yesterday. A lot of people would say we don't need another striker. We do. We definitely still need, I think personally, another striker, because you were a bit worried after the game, speaking at the statue, weren't you, about the sort of depth for the squad. It's all right the minute we've got the first 11 playing. It's when you get you can look at MK yesterday, and I thought they were poor, but you have to take into account with them, right? They've lost Twine. They've lost Harry Darling. They had no Mo Issa yesterday. Nathan Holland was injured. Will Grigg was injured. Josh McCracken was injured. Now, that's 6 players who were playing, apart from Grigg and Holland. Well, 4 plus them 2, but they had other players out as well. If you took 5 or 6 of our best players out of our team, Martin, how would we cope? So,
well, this is
and injuries will come throughout the season. Suspensions will come. So this is why you got someone like Dominic Ball. He's not kicked a ball yet, but we need him fit as soon as possible, because say Morsey goes down at Burton on Tuesday, does hamstring, he's out for a month. What have you got to come in? You've got Raheem Harper, who still is a young player. He's a good player, but he makes mistakes like he did at Colchester the other night, you know? So we need everyone as fit as we can, and we probably need that other striker just to add to the mix in there. Because you're going to get injuries, you're going to get suspensions. That's just a way of that's just football, isn't it? You just hope through the season you don't get no major injuries to your major players.
Well, this is it, and I do agree. I think we still need that extra striker in the room, because I wouldn't feel confident window slamming shut with Caden Jackson and Freddie Ladapo, because you get one injury and you're down to one striker, a recognised striker. You've got Chaplin who could play there, of course, but you are a little bit thin on the ground in the striker department. My concern is I've seen 2 million banded about. I've seen 3 million banded about. I've seen a swap deal for Wolfenden to Hurst. I've seen a swap for Wolfenden plus cash for Hurst. And I genuinely think we have a system that isn't striker orientated. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, look at the strikers over the last 18 months. Well, since McKenna arrived, Macaulay Bond tailed off. Joe Pigott couldn't get going. James Norwood, to an extent, couldn't get going. Freddie Ladapo hasn't yet got going. Caden Jackson obviously didn't set the world alight, played well. But the players behind the striker, again yesterday, the 3 that scored were the 3 behind the striker. They get the chances because I believe the striker is there to really cause havoc, occupy 2 centre-halves, and create the opportunities for the 3 behind. So do you want to go and spend £3 million on a striker that perhaps arrives with a big price tag, pressure on the shoulders, and isn't really going to. Because again, Ladapo, I said to Neil before the game, just count how many chances we carve out for Ladapo. 2, possibly 3. He crafted one himself.
In the first half from a mistake, didn't it? Where he sort of,
and that's not a negative. That's not an indictment. It's great that we've got a system that creates chances for multiple people, but is a striker as needed as maybe a number 10 who can come in and provide a little bit of competition for Chaplin, who if he goes down injured on Tuesday, I can't see anybody stepping into that role at the moment.
We got Luco, but then he's older in years, isn't he? It's interesting with George Hurst because everyone's like, oh, we got to sign him. But no one really, you're only basing on what he done last season, and he scored 13 goals, right?
Yep.
At Portsmouth. Well, Macaulay Bonne scored 12 goals. So
exactly what I said yesterday at the statue. Is it matter if you score him in 3 months or the whole season? If they're still the same amount of goals.
There can't be many people in the chat who know a lot about George Hurst. We can't sit on here and say, he's the man, he's going to come in, he's going to score 20 goals. We don't know that. It's a risk. Whoever we sign, look, you could say I was listening yesterday when we were coming to the game, George Burley was on with Mark Murphy saying that we need a striker, we need a 10. And they were saying about we need someone who's like done it. But who's really, realistically, at this stage, Martin, who are you going to get that scored goals at this level?
Well, if you're starting
or higher, who's really going to drop down? Now, Stockton was mentioned in the week. He would be somebody I would be taking a punt on. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, but he'll be another Joe Pigott.
I agree.
I don't know, will he be another Joe Pigott? I think that's a little bit unfair on him. When I see Fleetwood linked, I think, because he didn't play yesterday, they said he was ill, but they played each other. If Stockton goes to Fleetwood, I don't get that because that's a sideways move. You know, for me, that's no point. He should be aiming for a high team. And I think he could, I'm not going to say he's going to be playing every week. I think he could get goals. Carl Brooks says Alfie May, another one. Yeah, he could get goals, but he doesn't bring that physical presence. But it all depends what profile, that's the word that they use now, of striker that they want. And it's up to them to get the job done and get that right body into the building. But whoever comes in, I do agree with you, they're going to have pressure on. But the more games we win at the minute, say it takes another 2 weeks and we get someone might be out there, they might be thinking, oh yeah, say Jerry Yates at Blackpool, town top of the league. We win another 2 games. You might think, fancy a bit of that, go there, score some goals.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one. Who we get, I think we will get somebody.
I think it will be Bonne in the end. I think it will be Bonne. I will say that.
He played. I don't know if he played or came on yesterday for QPR at Sunderland, but I think if you offered Macaulay Bonne a contract to come in here and sign regular, he's a Town fan, I think he'd probably snap their hand off. So it's somebody as well with the system we play. They're not going to be playing every week.
No.
So that's another thing. They might think, well, I'm not going to be playing every week. I might believe in my own ability, but if Kieran's going to rotate it or whatever, I want to go somewhere where I'm the main man. And they might not be at Town. They might be. Nobody knows until whoever comes in how it all sort of pans out. But I'll be very shocked, Martin, if we get to the end of the window and we haven't signed another striker.
What makes me say Macaulay Bonne? I don't think Ashton's the type of sporting director, chief executive to act rashly or be persuaded into paying over what he believes a value is. Macaulay Bonne is almost a little bit of revert back to what you know. He knows the system, he knows the club. We know what he can bring to the table. It might be a permanent, it could be a short-term loan, could be a number of things. But for whatever reason, at the moment, what we do know or think we know is that George Hurst is a little bit of a rumbling. So, because I think if there's something holding that up, I don't know what it is.
Lee Anderson thinks there might be 2 strikers coming in. Now, where do they all fit in, though, Lee? Because if you keep signing players, they all can't play. They all can't sit on the bench. Emerson says up there, do we need a 20-goal striker? He says he thinks there'll be 4 or 5 on 10 to 15. So, I agree. It's what you said before, when we talked about Pigott and you could replace Pigott with Bonne in your conversation when you said you don't want someone who's scoring 20. If he could offer 10 goals, because look, Harness has got 2 already. I know Richard Chandler, I don't know if he's in the chat. He obviously, we've had the little bet, 7 players getting 10, which I think still quite, I think he's quite optimistic there. But I do think with the goals will be spread about, Harness will definitely get 10, Martin. You know, he's got double figures the last 3 seasons at Portsmouth. That's what I liked yesterday. That goal he scored. We scored all these brilliant goals, you know. He sniffed that out, didn't he? He was on the move. The keeper spilled it, and there he is. He's got himself a goal. If he weren't awake, if he was on his heels, he wouldn't have got that, and he's just got it. And it's a scruffy goal, but they all count.
He's really slowly coming into his own. The more he settles into the system and knows what he's required. Yeah. Kieran McKenna is an intelligent man, and I get the feeling just by watching his teams, the system's a really intelligent, well-designed system. And once you get to grips with it, you excel in it. But it's learning.
I think it was after Forest Green last week when they interviewed him, Harness. It's a new system. He's come in. He's played a little bit of a different role than he did at Pompey. But it's like him and... We've got a lot down the right-hand side. I will talk about when we talk about our 2 players. But I thought down the left-hand side, we're offering more now. We're offering more. And Harness is helping with Davis, who I thought was excellent yesterday. But, look, Harness knows the league, Martin. He's at a good age. He can improve. You know, he'll score goals. He could play at a high level, I think, if we get out of this league. And he's got beautiful eyes as well. There you go.
He certainly has. Right. You asked me a question about a strike that was guaranteed goals. If George Hurst is starting at 2 million, what we've seen on social media, then Johnson Clark Harris, who would get you those goals, must be starting in the 7, 8, 9 region.
Easy.
You know what I mean?
Darragh wouldn't set. There was the other week. There was an Ipswich fan. I said, "We should sign him." And Darragh's come back. Never. Colin wanted him in the summer. I said to Colin, "There is no way in the world that if he goes back to the Championship, right? He would never go to a team in this league, Martin. Not a chance. No way."
But that's why Cole Stockton makes sense, because, you know, a player that would get you those goals is going to cost you a rather large sum of money, unless you can go to a smaller football club who's financially maybe not as powerful as Posh. It's probably fair to say, and sort of, you know, persuade him that $500,000.
It's in low 6 figures. Fleetwood have bid low 6 figures for Stockton, and I think he's in the last year of his contract. I would have a dabble. I honestly would have a dabble there. I don't think I'm not saying he's a great footballer, but I think we need maybe something different. He scored all types of goals if you watch him last season. He was scoring goals from the bloody halfway line. He
was a great player. Right, some comments. Richard Chandler, Wolfie is great, but I expect it to him that could be a risk when it comes to Keogh being fit. Jason, new YouTube member. Thank you very much, Jason. We appreciate it. We really do. Gavin Law, Keogh will bollock the defence when he plays. Leanna saying our pressing was the highlight yesterday for me. We stopped them playing about at times, then gave the ball away with little pressure. Jem, we certainly need another striker. What if Ladapo was injured? What I said yesterday, you know, the moment if he goes down injured, and I'm Leicester, well, that figure is now increased by $1 million or 2. Lewis, we made 10 changes versus Colchester United. Very different to if we had bring 1 or 2 of those players into yesterday's lineup. We can't base our backups on a full Overhill versus Colchester, as poor as most were. No, I'll probably go into the depth tomorrow, because we're already halfway through today's show. We're rumbling through it, Crunch. Well, me and you talk for fun anyway. Jem, Gover striker is definitely, we won yesterday, so the gardener is rosy. Wait till we draw. The knives will be out. Keith, Ladapo may not have scored, but he was taking 2 defenders with him constantly. Bang on the money, Keith, allowing so much space for the others. Thought he played well. Rob, look at Vyman Cruncher still banging him in the season.
Yeah, well, I said about him, but he's another one of them ones where it costs. If you're in the Championship, you could get him. This is what we need to do, Mark. When we can get out of this league, hopefully it's this season,
I was a millionaire.
then we can sign some quality players, because we're going to have money to spend, everyone. We ain't going to be pissing about in the Championship. I think we'll spend proper money when we get in there, mine.
Look at him. Look at that face on him. Look, he's very excited.
Yeah, I've got an apology for you. I sold you some misinformation yesterday. Right, so you know at full time when I said, I've got a surprise for you on Co-Coms on Radio Suffolk on Tuesday night.
No, don't break my heart. No. Don't speak.
It's not my fault. It's my dad's. My mum will be watching this. My dad sold me some misinformation. It's not Paul Lambert.
Don't do this to me.
It's Paul Anderson. Sorry.
You know when you're going on holiday and you're really looking forward to something, it could be anything, a holiday, an anniversary. I was really looking forward to Tuesday night. I am bothered now.
Nay normal. It's nay normal.
Jem, scoring early really helped yesterday. Settle this play. I'm really that's upset me. That has. When you want more players, no, it's not really through the door this year. I can't get my pants on today. That's the problem. A striker squad is then complete for the.
It wasn't me, Mike. It wasn't me, Mike. In the no cruncher, it was my dad. My dad's 83. I think we can all let him off.
He misheard. Martin Flory. A lot of our business is tight-lipped behind the scenes with the trust Ashton and K-Mac. I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes. Did you know
the fisherman wears Skechers trainers? As advertised by Jamie Redknapp. Did you know that?
I'm not cool enough for Skechers. I don't know what they are. What are they?
Skechers.
I've got size 15 feet, Cruncher. I literally have
big feet. You've got very big feet.
Thank you very much, sir. You know what they say about big feet? Big socks.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Right. 2 players that played well. Then I'm going to drop a link. I'm going to start, because we've already sort of touched on him. Frelly Ladapo.
Yeah.
I really, really was impressed with him yesterday. And what particularly impressed me was his work rate, but his movement. He almost got himself a goal thanks to his movement crunch. In the second half, he nipped ahead, Daryl Murphy-esque, across the face of the defender. Came so close. He just needs that goal, and then people will start to relax on him, because the nitty-gritty, the hard work, he's really excelling at.
Yeah, it's as your striker, he'll be disappointed today waking up that he's not scored. You know, he'll be happy that, like we said on Friday, if you've got anything about you in a striker, you want to be scoring goals. You've got to be selfish, you know? You want to be the main man, Martin. And I know, look, he's happy. He's got his win bonus. We've won 3-0, comfortable. But it's still 3 games and he's not got off the mark. But I thought his overall play yesterday, I thought he was excellent. That's the best game I've seen him play. I'll give him a bit of criticism after the first 2 games. I thought yesterday he was top draw. And let's hope at Burton on Tuesday. They're a little bit leaky at the back. You know, they've conceded 11 in 3. So I'm really hoping
0-0.
Get off the mark there. Get that goal. Even if it bobs off his knee or something. Or he gets a goal like Marcus Arnott did. You know, Johnny on the spot. And then he can get going. Because the longer he goes, we as fans will be saying, oh, we'll be talking about it on here. You'll be talking about it on social media, all the Dapo. He might be playing well, but he's gone 5 games without scoring. He's gone 6 games without scoring. He needs to get that monkey off his back.
He does.
As soon as possible. It's like Chaplin said in his interview yesterday, the first goal he scored in the season is the most important one. Because you're off and running then.
Yeah.
And that pressure's gone.
Because the more it goes on, the pressure mounts, the talk in the stands and in the director's box about strikers continues, and then you start snatching at chances. And Rob Holmes says he made the keeper save one from the Dapo 2 minutes in. He did. He took it well in the end, but he didn't get out of his feet for me quick enough. And that's what can happen when you get in front of goal. Your eyes light up. You need that goal. But I thought yesterday he was just tremendous, big, strong, physical. Really occupied the 2 centre halves that created the space for the 3 behind. How about one of yours?
I was just going to say, I know Mike D wanted him to stay on, didn't he? But I could obviously see why McKenna's took Ladapo off. It's baking hot. There's 20 odd minutes to go. We've got another game Tuesday. You know, take him off, wrap him in cotton wool when he plays again Tuesday. Right, for me, I touched on him earlier. You got to give a lot of credit to Leif Davis. When he came in, he was probably thrown a bit of a suicide pass a little bit by McKenna, you know, just in the building. And he's making his debut about 2 or 3 days later, Martin. Like, he's probably didn't even hardly know some of the players. He's only trained with them a couple of days, and he did struggle, give away that penalty. He got better at Forest Green. And I thought yesterday, he was outstanding. He reminds me of Aaron Cresswell. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as him, but he just reminds me little things about him. I thought he did have a lot of space. He did have a lot of space yesterday out on that left-hand side. There were some times, Mike, when the ball was on the right-hand side, he had acres of room out there. He probably won't get that every single week, but I thought he got forward well, put some good balls in the box, defended well, and he's going to be an asset going forward. He is. We spent over $1 million on him, and I know a lot of people said they wanted Greg Lee. Leif Davis is going to be number 1. He will be number 1 at left wing back as long as he stays fit.
Yeah, I agree. He even moves a little bit like Cresswell in his mannerisms. Really quite striking. And I agree, played really well. One thing I'm really looking forward to seeing as we progress through the season is our switch ball, because currently our switch ball is as slow as a tortoise. It is so slow in going from right to left because I don't think they've had that player on the left that they can feed the ball to.
Yeah, Lewis's mate, Matt Penny out there, didn't we? We had Matt Stannard's mate, Bailey Clements.
Yeah. Whereas
no
yesterday,
disrespect to them, but they're not in the class of Leif Davis, and they've got to learn now that he's out there. They can trust him. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
And I really think McKenna and Pert will be drilling into them. Let's not overplay on the right side. Let's get it in, out, and then get it to the left. Really have that switch. Because yesterday, the switch ball, as I say, was a little bit too slow in coming, or it didn't come at all at times. And he had absolute acres of space.
Jason Clayton, Burton, they ain't part no buses this season, mate. Their bus has got a massive hole in it. They've conceded 11 goals in 3 games. They're at home. They need a victory. They won't be sitting back. We're going to smash them. We are going to smash them.
In a way, I hope they do in a way, because we have to learn to break these teams down. And if we haven't got it within the squad now, find out before the window shuts and let's address what we feel the deficiencies in breaking teams down who part the bus are. But because you don't want to go into September thinking you've got all the answers, and then so the questions start changing. You realize you didn't know anything. My second player is, and many will probably fall off their chair, Janoy Donatian. Now I'll put a little asterisk on this one. He won't be playing Lewington every single week. I mean, for the first goal, he breezed past him like he was a traffic cone. It wasn't even there. And in the end, they ended up bringing a midfielder to help him out because we were overloading that side.
Well, to be fair to him, Louis Barry didn't fucking help out a lot, did he? I didn't see him.
Louis who? Louis MIA?
Well, didn't even know he was on there, did we?
He doesn't like playing at Portman Road, does he, Louis Barry? Because last season he didn't play on Portman Road, and yesterday he didn't play on Portman Road. I forgot. Talk about, hang on, MIAs. Bradley Johnson. I didn't even know he was playing.
The only time I noticed him was when Morsey dumped him on his backside in the first half. That was it.
That's my captain. But I didn't know he was playing until after the game. And someone said, Bradley Johnson was playing.
I did get a text from Colin and Aidan where they were at full time. Well on the fucking way home on the A14 they were.
I bet they were. Yeah, at least they wasn't too far home for them. But I really was impressed with Donatian. As I say, not going to play Lewington every week. But he was a little bit back to his old self. The opening 2 games, we've not seen the same adventurous JD. But I just wonder, Rich.
Question for you. Is he the most improved player under Kieran McKenna?
Hard to say, because he was improved under Paul Cook, to be fair, as well.
Yeah.
You don't give Paul Cook much credit, rightfully so, but he was also equally improved under Paul Cook. So it's really hard to say is he the most improved under McKenna, but I do think yesterday was a how am I going to try? Yesterday was a performance based on Richard Keogh's signing. We now have competition for places, and this is what a striker may do for the front line. You have to play well to keep your shirt in this football club, because if you do not play well, if you go on a run of 2, 3, 4 poor performances, you've now got Richard Keogh who can step in. You've still got Corey and Darber at the club. You've got a change of formation. There's now no longer a guaranteed place for anybody.
It should have been. We don't want it to be easy. We want people chomping at the bit.
No, you don't.
On the training ground in the week, training 100%, ready for that opportunity. When they come in, grasp it. Someone's had a couple of bad games. Right, you're out. You're going in. I'm going to get in. I'm staying in. He's played poorly for a couple of games. And that's the way it has to be, Martin. It can't be that in that team, there's probably a few in there that you'd say you've got your goalkeeper, you got your captain. They're 2 nailed on certainties.
Nailed on. Yeah.
Wes Burns is probably another one I would say. And I think JD is probably one of them as well. I was having a little bit of fun with the guys around me. We were talking yesterday, 2 minutes into the game. Where does Keogh fit in? I said, well, maybe he'll come in the centre and then we'll play Wolfenden out on the right-hand side. Literally 2 minutes later, JD skins Dean Lewington and sets the goal up, and then they were taking the piss out of me all game. But I was only having a bit of fun because I think Donatian's been like the fisherman says, he's a 7 out of 10 every week. But he won a 7 yesterday. He was probably a 9.
He played really well yesterday. Yeah. I want to see how he does again Tuesday or next week. Edmondson could be at risk, actually, thinking about it, because yesterday again they had a header where on a different day, he would have put that in the back of the net, 1-1, and who knows where the game goes from there. And that was just based off Edmondson sort of losing track of where the centre forward was.
He has to score there, that guy. He's the one on loan from Norwich, wasn't he?
Norwich, yeah. I
He
was upset with our North fan, to be fair. They didn't boo the Norwich connections as much.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't know Johnson was playing. You know, no one booed him.
Because he done fuck all. He didn't do a lot.
No one knew who was playing.
He's not a threat, is he, anymore? He's not crashing one in the top corner at fucking Carrow Road now. He's getting the run around by Sam Morsey at bloody Portman Road.
There you go. How times change. Who was your second player before you bring in a couple of people waiting? We'll try and get you all on. If we can't, you come on tomorrow night show.
We were on about down that right-hand side, and I think you had JD, you had Wes Burns, but Chaplin plays over there sometimes well. He does them little triangles with Burns. I know they're really good friends, and JD. I thought Chaplin yesterday, Martin, he would be my man of the match. I know not everybody will agree, and I thought he needed that performance because I think he's been a little bit quiet, but I think he was everywhere yesterday in that first half. I think he could be I think he can get better. I think he can get a lot better than what he is now. I really do. And I think he got the goal. How many times have you seen? That's where I want him. That's where I want him, in that box, in and around that 18-yard box where that ball's in and it's bang, in the net. You know, them goals he got last season, a lot of them are, and he's round this sort of 18-yard box just inside. He'll have one touch, out of his feet, bang, and it's in the goal. And that's where I want to see him. I don't want to see him sometimes too deep. Get further up the field, get closer to Ladapo, you know, and I think the four, I'd say the four, you've got Ladapo up front, then you've got Burns, your Chaplins, and you've got Harness. I think them four this season could do a lot of damage to a lot of teams, I think, especially teams who come and play football, you know, and they're going to leave quite a lot of space. Whereas we still have to find, like we were saying, we still got to find out what happens when these teams come down there. And I think Barnsley's the next game. I'd expect Barnsley to probably... They played at Derby yesterday. I was talking to Hops this morning. James Norwood, anonymous yesterday, fisherman. Don't worry about him coming back. But it's after that. Then we got Cambridge coming up. Now, that'll be a good test for me, Martin, where we are. They come and done a number on us last season at Portman Road. True. They've had a good start, Cambridge. They've won 2 out of 3. That's coming over the horizon. That's a real game where I'm going to think, right, have we learned? Have we learned from last season? You know, because that's what's going to do. That's what's going to be the difference between us probably a playoff place, because I think we'll be in the playoffs comfortably. The difference will be between a playoff place and a top 2 place against them teams who come and park that bus. Start fast like we did yesterday, Martin. Score early against these teams, and the game's totally different. You know, when it goes 60 minutes and it's 0-0, I think was it Cambridge 0-0 after about 60 minutes and they scored last season. Yes, I'd scored. Then it gets 10 times harder then, because then they're doing the falling on the floor. You know, taking the goalkeeper taking time over a goal kick. Take that out of the equation by scoring an early goal like yesterday, 2-0. Really, that game was done at half time. It was done and dusted. And these teams like Cambridge, they're not as good as we. They're not as good as us. They know they're not as good as us. So if we open that game up earlier and you get a goal ahead, you get 2 goals ahead, then when they push forward, because they have to try and get back in the game, we've got the players who can take these teams apart, and then we score 3 and 4. That's how it should be this season. I know it's not that easy. It's not. If it was that easy, we'd all be managers, wouldn't we? But to make that difference this season, that's the key game I see coming up. I know we've got 2 away games this week, but then we've got Barnsley. But and Accrington's another one, Martin. Start of September. They're the sort of teams we never do well against them. It has to be different this season for it to be a better season for us. Yeah,
no, I agree on those sentiments, and also on the kind of Chaplin sentiments. So I've often said on this platform, sat in this very chair, the ball drops inside the 18-yard box. There is nobody else in my squad I want that ball falling to more than Connor.
It's just
Chaplin.
Instinctive. It comes to him.
He's got the ice in his veins that you need to score goals.
He's not got a lot of backlift. The goalkeepers can't really set themselves because bang, it's past them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Season, I think it was the Fleetwood one when Selena scored and that one comes to him on the edge of the box. He literally right foot took a touch and he's whacked it, and the keeper's hardly got down, and it's in the net.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's a great player. The only issue, the only criticism I've got about him in the 10 is his passing range. I'm not quite sure he has the passing range of a Selena.
He's not Selena. Not Selena in the 10. That's why I want him a little bit further forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Better finisher than Selena.
Oh, every day of the week, yeah. Yeah, agreed. Lewis says Shrewsbury won't park the bus. Would be a tough game. Carl, early goals with McKenna style of play is so key. The way we keep it, we frustrate teams. We would lead us to opening them up even more, regardless of opposition. Richard Chandler, welcome in. How did you see it yesterday? You've heard the show. What do you make of everything so far?
I thought it was great. I think Harness and Davis look like the combination we've needed on the left all of last season. And people were quick to write both of them off after the first game when they both were in and out a bit. And obviously Davis gave away the penalty. But I thought yesterday they were outstanding. I agree totally. I know this is rare of Crunch, but I agree totally with you that Davis looked like Cresswell back in the day.
But it's like thought
it was outstanding.
That first game against Bolton, that's the first time. Like Davis came in that week, didn't he? On the Tuesday, him and Harness are probably they've had probably 2 training sessions together, and then you're going into a big game against a good side. Bolton were, so
they were a very good side. They're going to be up there.
Yeah.
They really will be up there. Yeah. You, last time you were on the show, you said about Sam Morsey grabbing 10 goals for the year. He should be on about 5 or 6 already, based on the number of chances he's got. Working the keeper probably each time. But are you still confident at that 10? How did you see captain's performance yesterday? Because he led by example. For me.
Think what I think was great is that I think he had as good a game as he's had in any of them, but people aren't focusing on that because he wasn't the outstanding performer. We'd got Evans breaking up play, passing the ball about. Let's ignore his couple of poor corners in the second half. But Evans had a really good game. Davis had a really good game. Harness had a really good game. Chaplin had a really good game. Burns had a good game. It was all over the park. If there's a criticism, it's probably of Wolfie and his lack passing and his complacency. And I put in the chat earlier that before the game, Lewis really, really kindly gave me a lift in because there was train strikes and all sorts of stuff like that going on.
Good stuff.
And we were talking on the way. Pardon, sorry?
The Colchester Massive.
Yeah. And we were talking on the way in that before the game, where's Keogh going to fit in? And it was possibly JD instead of him. But now I think it's Wolfie that's at risk because he's a quality player, but he switches off in games.
I think it gets too easy for him, Rich, sometimes, them teams. And that's why I did like it yesterday, whereas at Forest Green, we switched off and we made it hard, right? Because we were so on top there, and then for 10 minutes, we were hanging on a little bit. Whereas yesterday, we come out after half-time, and then we got that third goal, and the game was dead, wasn't it? It was done with 25 minutes to go.
Game management like we've not seen in years.
Yeah.
And we've got a keeper that's the best in the league, probably better than most of the championship keepers.
Apart from Bart.
And Bart didn't have a great game yesterday. Did you see the highlights? I like Bart, but he didn't do well.
I
didn't do well yesterday.
I did have my heart in my mouth when he was hobbling for a few minutes, Walton. I did think, and I haven't had that feeling since Bart.
No.
Oh Christ, if he goes off, we could be in, not just for this game, but if he's a period of time. I don't mind Haladki, but he's no Christian Walton.
As you say, Nick Hayes, get him in.
I think
just quickly touch on him. We didn't touch on it Friday. He signed a new contract, didn't he?
2 years.
Two years.
Look, I think testament to him. He's a third choice goalkeeper, Martin. I mean, he knows he's not going to play. You know, he's out there every single game before the game in the warm-ups. I think someone like him, it's not just about the players who are going to be playing. It's about everybody inside that dressing room. He must have a really sort of good character, you know, and he must be a real good team person, you know, because he knows he's not going to play. He might play a Papa John's game. I think they'll probably chuck him in and see what he can do. But fair play to him. Third choice goalkeeper. You know, it's probably a bit of a lonely sort of task, isn't it, Rich?
Certainly came across really well on the commentary last week.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, and I think I think there's a little bit of credit to Cladky as well, in my opinion, because if he wasn't doing the right stuff on the training pitch and stuff, they'd have bimmed him out on loan. Because he's not going to play games other than the cup games, and is he even going to play a lot of those? Because I could easily see them putting Hayes in a couple of those Papa John's games. And so he must be a team player, squad player. I think Morsey will get his 10. Back to the Morsey thing, he was really close with that long shot that brudged the edge of the goal. Well, certainly looked like it was from my angle, and Lewis was right behind it and said to me in the car afterwards that it was really close. And he was close in the first half as well. I think he'll get his 10. And I still think my bet's on. So
no, absolutely. I'd be confident if I was you. Certainly getting the chances or crafting them out.
Lee Anderson agrees with me. We were chatting last night on Twitter, and he said I should order my shirt now, Rich.
Yeah, I don't know why Anderson's not on the Discord. Chuck in Anderson, bring the chat to.
Is he not on it?
No, he is actually. I've seen him actually post on there. No, he is on there. I make a mistake. He is on there. Nick Hayes in the Papa John's. I don't know. If I was a Ladky, I want to play every game.
He's still here, Rich. I thought Ladky would go. I thought he'd go and play football.
I thought he would, and he's a good keeper. I think he's a good keeper. You don't become the best keeper in League Two without being any good, because you wouldn't be playing at League Two level even. So I think he just had a bit of a ropey start with us, and then we brought Walton in, who's outstanding and shouldn't be playing at League One. But then half of our team shouldn't be playing at League One. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So Burton Tuesday, quick prediction: 3 points, 1 point, 0 points. What are you saying?
2-0 win.
We're
going there and dominate him. They'll park the bus, but we'll break them down.
I like that a lot. Richard, appreciate you. Look after yourself. We'll speak soon, hopefully. All the best. Thanks for coming on. Stephen will be on tomorrow's show. Starting tomorrow's show with me and the contributors. We've got time for one more, and Stephen gracefully bowed out so Colin could come in a second and have his say. Before he does, I want to touch on Coventry very quickly, because it is a shambles at the Ricoh Arena right now. What's going on, Rich? Because you're friends with a Coventry fan.
So my boss supports Coventry, so he's always sending me these little clips on WhatsApp. So they obviously played at Burton, didn't they? Because the pitch at the Ricoh wasn't. They played Bristol City down there, played at Burton, got dicked 4-1. So then they're supposed to be playing Wigan Tuesday night at the Ricoh. No, game off. Pitch still not fit. But the thing is, right, the groundsman couldn't get in there. They were locked out, Martin. They had concerts on. The pitch should have been relayed in the summer. Wasps said. So Wasps, obviously, they own the ground, don't they now? Yep. Wasps are now in financial difficulty. I heard yesterday they've sold 750 season tickets, Wasps. That's it. 750. So they've got no money. So Coventry are in a bit of a pickle now because
it's nonsense, really.
That's cancelled. The game against Wigan. They should have another game at home next Saturday against Huddersfield. I mean, what is going on? There's 2 games they've had cancelled already, Martin. They're going to need a new pitch lane. That is what they're going to need doing. You know, but when are they going to do it? It's like, hang on, this should have been done back in the bloody summer. It's a shambles. Obviously, look, they played at Northampton, they played at Birmingham, they played at Burton.
You see, from my perspective, you are in England's second tier, which has its own TV deal. Like when we got relegated, there was a whole 9 million deficit as a football club. You're one promotion away, one lucky season away from being in England's top level. This isn't Sunday morning. This isn't.
They done well last season. They could have nicked in. They could have been in the Premier League. They could have. They could have nicked in the playoffs at the end. And what happened if they were in the Premier League and this is happening? You know,
this is it. I understand they're renting it, but you have to. It's a shambles.
But it is out of their hands. It is out of their hands. It's a mess since they left Highfield Road. It's been just one fucking.
The thing is, you can't be a Sunday morning team without guaranteeing the league you've got a pitch. If you can't guarantee you've got a football pitch, you shouldn't be a fucking team. Because that's the fundamental thing of football teams. They play football matches.
Yeah, I do agree. So they said, because obviously you got Saturday's game against Huddersfield. No one knows if they're combining tickets because they don't have the fucking games going to be on. You know,
Oh, that's nonsense. That's
it's
silly.
a shambles. It's almost as much a shambles as Man United. Do you want to touch on that?
Yes, very quickly. Man United 4-0 yesterday.
In
Brentford.
for training, in for extra training this morning.
Are they?
Yeah, but he's got them in again.
Oh dear.
Worst start since 1921. I can't remember the manager's name then, but he lost the first 2 games. Nice, easy game next up for him next Monday. Liverpool. That'll be 3. But
they'll probably win that 1-0, you know.
In the chat a minute ago, I can't remember who put in there about the goal kicks. I think it was Ben Adams, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
But then you see, have you seen the second goal Man United concede? Playing out from a goal kick. They've done it before. Maguire, they got caught, and Maguire gave away a free kick. He got a yellow card. They've fucking done it again. Christian Eriksen, I mean, look, international footballer, on the edge of his box, daydreaming, gets caught. Brentford nicked the ball in the net. But they signed, the funniest thing I heard was, well, Gary Neville did say it was like men versus an under-9s team. They signed a guy, I can't remember, someone in the chat will tell me, a guy called Martinez. They've signed him, centre-half. He's 5'9".
Is he?
He's 5'9". I mean, he's playing centre-half in the fucking Premier League. What is going on?
Modern day football for you, that is.
It's a shambles from top to bottom. You know, the Glazers, do they really give a toss, Martin?
They've spent money, though.
Yeah, but they're back in the States. You know, I know they spent some money, but the recruitment is some of the players for United. Darlow, I mean, fuck me. How does he get a game? Absolute crap. This is, we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world still.
That's the issue, though, isn't it?
10 years since they last won the Premier League, you know? That 10 years has just gone just like that. It'll be at least, I would say at least another 10 years before they win another Premier League. That's at least. They're miles behind.
It's really hard to disagree with that. The problem for me is every window, they're trying to put together a title-winning side. Every single window, so they're throwing money on recruits that aren't good enough instead of just scrapping it and starting again. They need to gut it and start completely again.
Yes, they'd had 5 attacking players on there. Like, you're playing away from home. They normally play 2 holding midfielders. Only played 1 yesterday. They've been chasing that Frankie de Jong all summer. He ain't going to go there. I mean, what is going on? If he ain't going to come, get somebody else in. And then they're after Arnautovic. They're on about signing him.
I was going to say, this time last week, news broke they're after Arnautovic. I mean, he wasn't good enough for Stoke.
Well, why don't they take a punt on somebody like Ivan Toney, who I think is a really good player, and he's proved he can score goals for Brentford in the Premier League. You know, get rid of Ronaldo, fuck him off. He don't want to be there, Martin. He's stinking the place out. You get rid of him. You're a new manager. You've got your star player doesn't want to be there. Get rid of him. Rashford finished. Sancho. They've had more managers and he's scored goals since he's been there. Another one who's but the thing is,
hasn't been good enough.
I watched the Arsenal Till I Die. Brilliant from Mike B, you know, the first episode. If anyone's not watched it, go and watch it. But you see them players there rocking up in Ferraris, you know, all these cars. These players earn so much money. Where's the drive in them? I'm not saying everybody. Where's the drive? Where's the ambition? You're playing at Man United. You got to pull your socks up. I mean, what's a fucking shambles?
Oh, big shambles. But then, this is what happens after great dynasties. Look at Liverpool.
And like Mike D says, the stadium as well. 15, 20 years ago, it was one of the best stadiums in the world. It's dilapidated now. It's falling down. Needs bringing up to date. Bit like Portman Road.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what happens. Look at Liverpool after, when their dynasty ended. They went through the years of the wilderness. Bruno Cheyrou, for fuck's sake.
30 years. They went 30 years without winning the title.
But
Man United will do the same.
Recruitment was so poor for so long. This is what happens. Eventually, they will climb themselves out because they will hit rock bottom, and then it won't be a good year. Will be a top 4 finish. It will be a top 8, then a top 6.
But they haven't got a sporting director. That's what Gary Neville. There's a great clip on Sky Sports of Neville and Redknapp arguing the toss, and he said they've not got a sporting director. Whereas Redknapp was on about. He's always been quite critical of Levy at Tottenham. Look what Tottenham have got now. They've got one of the best grounds in the world. Great training facilities, sporting director, good manager, Man United are just getting left behind. They're getting left behind. And it's funny, isn't it? It's funny because they fucking had the monopoly for so long.
It's quite sad, though, really. I think it's quite sad.
It's one of the biggest clubs in the world and they're scraping around and it's just like, it's like a car crash, isn't it?
Greatest team of my lifetime, certainly, or greatest club of my lifetime is now.
The Premier League era when Sir Alex was in charge, they were they're brilliant to watch every week. They were fantastic to watch. Now they're just a shit show.
They are, absolutely. Mike D, Colin reckons Cobble's going if we go up. It is. Eventually it will have to make way. But somebody asked in the chat a question about Norwich being bottom of the Championship. Colin, your mates up the road are bottom.
We're only one place behind them. We're here. This is the closest we've been to Norwich for fucking years.
We can't, at the moment, we can't quite say mind the gap, can we? But that ain't going to be long.
Steady. I mean, the problem is, Colin, the problem is Dean Smith is doing so badly too early that he might get sacked quick enough for them to turn it around. That's my worry.
Yeah, funnily enough, I got a Norwich supporter, believe it or not. Adam, his name is, in my close, and we had a good chat this morning. And I was saying, you'll finish mid-table at best. Yeah, a little bit of banter, like. They said, no, I think we'll be a bit higher than that. I said, yeah, probably make the playoffs, but I don't think you'll go up. And I'm going to stick to that. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll go up. And like I said that at the start of the season. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But anyway, enough about Norwich.
What about us, Colin?
I'll tell you what my feelings are this morning, Gav and Rich, is this. I mean, I was speaking to Rich a little bit this morning. I've been thinking about things, and it's so nice. I mean, I remember for years and years and years and years and years going home and my tea, whether it be at my mum's, whether it be since I've been married, my tea was always just that little bit more lovely than lovely. Because on a Saturday night, because we used to win all the time, or most of the time. Over the last, 10 or 20 years, it's had a little, even Venetia's great dinners and teas have just had that little kind of a soury kind of taste because, it's not been the same. We all know that over the last decade or 20 years or so. But I've got my mojo right back, from a person who's seen the great times and gone, like you boys, gone right through the crap. And it's really, really hurt me. It's really hurt me. I've never said this before. It's really, really hurt me. And like we quite often say, Gav, when we do the interviews after the games and everything, I look up there and see Sir Bobby, and I think to myself sometimes, what on earth would he actually be thinking, over the old Evans days and that, But I'll tell you what he would have been thinking yesterday. Thought about this morning, especially like that third goal and that. I'll tell you what, Bob would have been purring at that. Absolutely purring. Well, look, I'll tell you what, that man on there, right, Rich and Ian, I told you, Rich knows this, them two people, my lovely son and Rich, they're the two main people who support the town, who really, really, really keep me on a level. He does. And he does. He does. You do. And Ian sings off the same hymn sheet as Rich. So when they speak, I listen.
We all want to get excited, don't we?
Eh?
We all want to get excited, but if we're sitting top of the league at Christmas, I think then we can sort of not after 3 games.
What do you make of stats like this, Colin? 26 league games, Kieran McKenna, 13 games won, 14 clean sheets.
Well, what do I think of that? I think that's very, very good, I know I keep saying, I keep harping on it, but I put it in the chat again today. I'm one of these kind of people. I'm like Rich. I'm like you, Gav. I'm like Mike. I'm like a few other people who come on here.
No one's like Mike.
Look, anybody is good with hindsight. We all know that. I prefer personally. I know Rich is the same. I prefer to look, put your head on the block, and say what you think, before the season kicks off.
Yeah.
And I said there's three things in particular. One, Ipswich will finish top two. I've seen absolutely nothing to make me think otherwise.
Okay.
Two, I don't think Norwich will go up. And three, and one of the most important things I said, and I said it quite a long time ago, you two know that, we've got the best coach in this league, bar none. And anybody who thinks differently, I think Mr. Moore is a pretty close second in this league. But I'll tell you what, we're blessed with what we've got at this football club right now. And I thank Mr. Ashton and Mr. O'Leary and all the people who got these people in. I'll tell you what, mate, it's looking so good. Like Rich says, you know, we've got to wait until like kind of Christmas time and see where we go from there. But look, I'm going to Burton Tuesday night, fortunately. I did get my ticket a long time before we won yesterday. So I'm not just going because we won yesterday. I'm going next Saturday as well. But I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I'm like Rich. I don't think they will park the bus. They can't. They need points. They need points. They can't keep saying, like, just say, for example, they've got us on Tuesday. I know they probably haven't done, but say they've got Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday, and then they've got Derby the following Saturday. Then they've got Cheltenham the following Saturday. They say, oh, well, we'll park the bus this week. We'll park the bus next week. We'll park the bus next week. We'll park the week after. But they're bloody 1 point after about 8-9 games. You can't do that. They've got to attack the game to a certain extent, especially at home. And I totally agree with Rich. Look, they might do to a certain extent, but look, they've got to try. They've got to try and get points. And I think that will suit Ipswich. And I think we'll make 1 or 2 changes, Gov. That was exceptionally hot yesterday, and I know, like you two always quite rightly say, you know, they look at all the analysis, they look at all this, that, and the other as regards medical, what the heat might have done to 1 or 2 people yesterday. I'd be amazed if the same 11s. Look, I won't be anti it, Rich Gov, but I'll be won't you, Gov? I'll be amazed if the same 11 starts.
I will be a little bit. Yeah, I do wonder from a sports science department how much yesterday took out of players with the heat. Was it like playing 2 games as opposed to 1? Are they able to rehydrate quickly? Lots of stuff to absolutely might require a change or 2, which would be good, you know, because we've got to see what the depth can bring. I've got my concerns about that. But as we sit here on the Sunday lunchtime, Colin, and you're one of the lucky ones to be going to Burton. Down to 400 tickets, by the way. That's what's left
Emerson
available.
Says sold out. Emerson says in the chat it's sold out.
I've just read the ITFC Twitter page.
I didn't think it was sold out.
Hang on, I will get the tweet. It might have been an old tweet that came up on the timeline. It was posted only a couple of hours ago, to be fair. So it could well have sold out. We are a club trending in the right direction, which is always good. But who was your sort of standout performer yesterday, Colin? Really, you know, you've got to pick one. I know you like to say team game; they all played well. But if you had to pick one out particularly, who really sort of stood head and shoulders and led from the front?
Lewis asked me the question about an hour ago on WhatsApp, and I did go with 3. I can't split them.
Sold out.
You know.
Sold out. All gone.
Brilliant, Rich. Brilliant. JD had a good game. Burnsy had a good game. Chapman's had a good game. Evans had a very good game as regards himself. You know, he's normally a lot of 6 to 7 out of 10. I thought he was an 8 out of 10. Look, again, I know it's going to sound like a bloody broken record, boys, but I'm gonna have to go with Kelly's, mate. I'll tell you what, Morsey. Oh my God! I'll tell you what a midfield player. I'll tell you what. When he first signed, everybody was waxing lyrical about him, how good he was, and this, that, and the other. And I said, really, you know, is he that good? I mean, like everybody said, took a time to settle, but God Almighty, you know. If I'm Kieran McKenna and I'm sitting in my office on my own, you know, got my pen and paper out, I don't suppose they do it like that in these days, but got me pen and paper. I think, I'll better pick a team on something this morning, maybe. Pick a team for Tuesday night. I think, I'll put a few names down. Well, I'll tell you what, I reckon if I was picking that Ipswich team right now, the first 3 names I would put on that team sheet every time. The first one, 100% would be Morsey. The second one, 100% would be Walton. And the third one, 100% would be Burns. And I'll tell you what, there's 1 or 2 are very close to that as well now. I'll tell you what, you said a great point earlier on, Rich. I'll tell you what, I love that Leif Davis. I thought his shoe last Saturday, Rich, on our left-hand side, do you remember when he was coming bombing down our side? His shoe me quite, although I think he went off, didn't he, FTR?
He's won, Colin. He's won Tuesday.
I love him. I
think he might take him out and play Greg Lee Tuesday. I'm not saying because I thought he played really well, but you've got to think. It depends where he is on his fitness, Martin, because he had a pre-season, didn't he, at Leeds?
True. Yeah.
I think he could play Greg Lee. He could play. It'd be interesting.
I wouldn't be against that, Rich. Because Greg Lee, I'll tell you another thing I like about Greg Lee. And there's loads of things springing out at you right now, isn't there? I know. I said it to one. The bloke stands next to me in the north. I'll tell you what. He's got an exceptional jump. Exceptional jump for a wing back. I'll tell you, he wins a lot of headers. And that is not. It ain't essential, but. At that particular position, but it bloody well pissing helps. And I've noticed that. I'll tell you, I noticed it a lot since he's been there. He's got a great jump on him.
Absolutely. He can get himself off the ground quite well for a wing back.
Also, can I just say, please, Gov? It was, it's brought so many friends to all of us, especially myself. Since I've been helping you out and all this, that, and the other, and I love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. It was so nice to see Mike D yesterday. I'll tell you what. Not only is he an intelligent guy.
Hang on. Stop there. He's a very intelligent. But why was he wearing a t-shirt and a shirt when it was 35 degrees? I will never know.
I can't comment on fashion choices. I'm out of that conversation. But it was great to meet him. It really was. Colin, as we round up the show, obviously you mentioned Burton on Tuesday. What is your score prediction going to be?
Not going to go over the top. Not
5-0 then. 0-2. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Colin, we appreciate you and we thank you for what you do, and it's an honour to talk football with you. So thank you for coming on today's show.
Take care.
Look after yourself. It's always good listening to Colin. We are back tomorrow, 8:30. We'll do some more reaction to a fantastic win, but we'll also look ahead to Burton, team predictions and thoughts on Jimmy Floyd's team. Joining me is George Nunn and Brandon, which also brings me to...
Oh, Brandon's debuting
on Talking Town Extra Time. And tonight at 9 p.m, we also have a
cricket show. We've not had one for a while. Test series starts against South Africa on Thursday. So we've got a cricket show. There's me, Brandon, Rob, the best beard in cricket, and Neil tonight. So we'll probably do an hour, Gov. Don't want to keep you too long. We'll have a chat about that. I've just got wrote down here. We chatted a couple of weeks ago about where Town's first defeat's going to come. Now I've got the next six league games. I can't see a defeat coming. Burton, Shrewsbury, Barnsley, Accrington Stanley, Cambridge, Bristol Rovers.
You shouldn't lose.
No.
You certainly shouldn't. But as we said at the start of the show, this is football, and football has a funny way of biting you on the backside. Burton ship goals for fun. It's almost either a 0-0 or a 0-1 defeat.
Well, I'll take a 0-1 now to Town.
I'd win 0-1, yeah, but I could see it.
It's that third game as well, Martin. It's that third game. We need to get that monkey off our back as well. Look, we've done a point off Bolton. We didn't take any off them last year. We beat a team.
Is it the third game? Are you? Because you've got Colchester in the middle of it.
No, I'm third league game. This will be three league games. So we took a point off Bolton and we took none off them last year. We beat a team who got promoted last year. I think the last 4 times against MK have been draws, haven't they?
Yes.
We've beaten them. So let's get that monkey off our back. Let's get to Burton on Tuesday. Let's get the right mentality. Score early. I think that's a game that's key. Burton's, their confidence has got to be very, very low at the minute. But especially after being 4-2 up yesterday, going into injury time at Accrington, and then they draw 4-4.
We do have a Burton fan joining us tomorrow, so hopefully we can put to him the issues at Burton. Yes, Edward is joining us, the Burton fan. Going to be a good show, so join us for 8:30. It's been a fantastic show today. It is a good opportunity, though, for the third game, whether you count Colchester or not, because you've got Burton and then Shrewsbury, and both should be 6 points. They both should be wins.
I would take 4 points this week.
See, I'll be upset with that because neither are going to threaten the playoffs, and you've got to beat the teams that aren't going to threaten the playoff position.
You're not going to win every game. This is what I'm saying. You're not going to win every game. Burton, I think, is a win. Shrewsbury, for me, I might be wrong. I think Shrewsbury, for me, will be the tougher game out of the two. I think he's got some quite good signings there, Steve Cottrell. They had a good win yesterday. They beat Wickham away. So, look, I'm obviously hoping, Martin, we can get 6 points. But I'm saying out the next 3, Burton, Shrewsbury, then Barnsley at home. I'll take 7 points. You got 7 from the first 3.
I agree.
And then another 7 puts you on to 14 after 6 games. So it's them little blocks, I think. And then if you go to the end of, we want to be unbeaten, go to the end of August. But then please do not give Kieran McKenna manager of the month.
No, but 7 points from the next 3. Yeah, ideal, really.
They're all winnable. They are all winnable games if you look.
But it'd be a point from Barnsley, because I think Barnsley, again, you expect them to be a playoff side. So you don't want to surrender points to them.
I don't know.
No, you don't? You don't?
I don't think Barnsley will be in the playoffs. No, they lost again yesterday, and they got a new manager. They're probably some signings short as well. When I think it was Ian, I'd done the chat with him, the Barnsley fan. So he did think a solid season. He said if they're in the top 10, so maybe he was underselling them a little bit. But we're playing at home against Barnsley, Martin. Get on the front foot. But first up, 2 tough away games. Burton, Tuesday night. I'll be there. Looking forward to it. 2-0 Town.
Absolutely. Well, the standard has been set, as Connor Chaplin said post-game yesterday. The sun is shining that little bit brighter. Town have won. And this has been Talking Town. Subscribe. Graham Roberts has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much, Graham. Welcome home. You can join the Discord and carry on the conversation after today's show. But until then, Matt's done. West Ham have just scored. Well, there you go. We scored 3 yesterday, and we're done for today. We'll see you tonight, 9 p.m.
Nottingham Forest, nearly as many signings as Town.
Yeah.
Signings galore.
This is it. Last night,
9 p.m. Everybody in the chat, come and watch the cricket show. Come on.
9 p.m. for the cricket. 8 David Talking Town Extra Time with love, with care. We'll see you all later on.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you.